You don't remember?
We sort of had a tradition that when there was going to be a new baby, we all knitted something for the baby, for the coming baby.
So this one we know is Rosie's. This one we think is.
So
Then these are clear.
So Rosie went back to work when Anne went to middle school, started middle school. And I remember her growing up, freshening up on her shorthand.
Yes.
And pointing out that in shorthand they left out a lot of vowels, things were shortened, and that you spelled sheep and ship the same way in shorthand. It's pretty funny. So she had been a legal secretary when she was younger, but when she went back to work, she somehow fell into getting jobs for trade associations. And she went through several different jobs, and the last one I remember was she was working, who knew there was such a thing, for the Trade Association of Trade Associations. That's right.
There isn't, there should be.
Yeah, let's see. Anne has down here, she worked for APA and for Hadassah and the Empire State Building. She made sure that we all knew how to iron, we all knew how to fold our clothes, we all knew enough cooking so we wouldn't starve. She was very careful that all of her kids had basic domestic skills, most of which we've all forgotten since. She was a good cook. She cooked everything from scratch. She made her own stuff. And, coming from living through the Depression, like most of her generation, she was very frugal. But we never had leftovers that were reheated. If it was leftover, it was recooked into something else. So you had turkey tetrazzini and chicken a la king and salmon croquettes, and never heard of just taking some out of the refrigerator, reheating it, and putting it on the plate. That never happened.
It did in our house.
Harriet did a lot of the same things too, like Rose. Yeah,
She
sure.
did.
She did things.
I do the same thing. Come on, Ken.
Rosenberg loved to travel. Rosie used to say there was no point in buying souvenirs because when you got home you could get anything you wanted in Maisie's basement. But they loved to travel. We had, Cheryl and I had the privilege and fun of getting to travel with them several times. They took us to Spain when I graduated from my PhD program, and they were a lot of fun to travel with. Around 1978, to get closer to her grandchildren, Rosie and Bert left New York and moved to Leisure World, where Bert was on the board of directors within a week, and Rosie was secretary for the Jewish Humanities. What do they call it? The Humanist group. She was, and she swam. She joined the sewing club. She was a great swimmer, but she would not jump into the water. She had to walk into the water. And I remember one summer, I think maybe it was when Bruce was at scout camp, and the rest of the family was at the family camp that was next to the scout camp. And the swimming test involved jumping into the water and swimming across the pool or the pond, whatever it was. And Rose would not jump. And so even though she was the best swimmer among us, she had to stay in the shallow water over there because she would not jump into the water to take the swimming test. And as Anne wrote here, Rose loved her family, her sisters, her nieces and nephews, and her daughters-in-law, and especially her grandchildren. Traveled every year in the winter to Indiana to be with her grandkids, which, boy, that's dedication. So Anne has a couple of letters, and anyone else who wants to talk is more than welcome.